Hello, and welcome to the Relevance of Now with William Linville. My name is Michael Connell, and I'll be your host here with William. Hey, William.
Hi, Mike. How's it going, buddy?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great, as
Fa-
always.
Fantastic. Well, today, the topic for this podcast is something really important for all of us, and it's around intimate, loving relationships of the heart with another. When it comes to intimate, loving relationships with another, will you share how having that relationship with another can be easy?
Absolutely, buddy. And it's such a beautiful topic because it's where so many get in their own way due to their own defenses and their own fears. But a relationship can be easy when you're expressing from the heart without any ego in the way. In a relationship of the heart, the ego is put to the side, and where you really just break energy with the ego, where you can be fully heard and accepted for who you are in your unique view of things based upon your experiences, and where there's no one wrong. Because so often the ego gets in the way trying to prove itself to be upright and justified. But in a relationship of the heart, you're actually taking a breath, you're actually hearing your partner. You're not looking for fault. You're hearing them. You're not judging them. You're not condemning them. You're actually hearing them and being able to receive whatever they're sharing. You're not trying to change them. You're not trying to make them any different. You're just fully loving them and accepting them. It's kind of like when I met my bride, the beloved of my heart, my angel baby. One hypothetical hiccup in her mind was that she didn't like to fly and I was going to fly a lot. But it was so cool because it's like, well, I don't have to fly. I can drive. I can take the train. I mean, there's many ways to get to the same place. But it was for herself, it was something she was concerned about because she wouldn't be able to take many trips with me until we started traveling all over the US. And then that worked itself out. And now, because there wasn't any condemning, because there wasn't any judgment, because it was not an issue, now she enjoys flying whenever we go places. It's not trying to push them to overcome their fear, it's accepting them for their programming, their conflicts, whatever it may be, but you love them through it. You're not, that's not your goal to love them through it so they change. You just accept that part of themselves and everything continues to flow.
And so, when you're talking here about egos getting in the way, and I'm reflecting on my own relationship, in some of my blockages in the past were around integrity of keeping my word with certain things that I wanted to improve upon myself, but I wasn't in the moment yet consciously able to improve upon myself. And how do partners in an intimate, loving relationship handle when their partner isn't moving beyond their blockages?
You be open with them. You share how you feel and you ask for what you want. You're not asking for them to change, but you are asking, like something like that, being more courteous. You're asking them to stop, take a breath, and ask themselves, how best can I be more attentive here? How best can I actually hear what you're saying? And what I have found is where you stop, you take a breath, you close your eyes, you focus your eyes towards your third eye for a moment, bringing yourself consciously through the heart. That's where you're able to get past these little blockages and where they're actually hearing what you're saying. They're not already creating a defense, they're not already condemning you, though he's never going to change, she's never going to change. So what am I doing? You stop the scapegoat there before it becomes an issue. And you hear what they're saying, like they're really wanting to make improvements. They're just having a tough time. And you take that to heart and you do what you can to make it easier on them. But you also are there to watch them, celebrate them for even wanting to create that change. Because they're becoming cognitive and conscious that okay, this is something that I need to work on Sometimes I'll ask you for ideas as long as you're not condemning, as long as you're not trying to argue, trying to play, I'm better than, you're less than. Well, if you skip all that stuff for a moment, you're actually able to hear your partner and your partner being able to share what they want, how they want, and how they're wanting to change. Sometimes they don't know how. So you're able to, with an open heart, be able to be that of assistance if and when they're asking. But you're not condemning them to hell per se for having issues.
Right. Because there are people that haven't found their way out of the consciousness that's blocking their full expression, their loving beingness, their ability to be more conscious and to be more present.
Exactly.
And so what I hear you also identifying is that the judgment of another is also a form of blockage and control.
Total control. But you're playing better than less than.
And this really comes down to everyone is so unique in what's in the way of the full expression of love,
Exactly.
which comes down to, Will, what if your partner isn't willing to talk about their blockages or is shutting down?
Well, the first thing I would do is I would put them in the palm of my hand and I would light them up. I'd welcome in their higher levels to take command, put them in the palm of my hand, left hand on the bottom, right hand on the top, and I would run energy to them, not because I want them to change, but because I see them struggling. I'm not trying to influence where they're at. I'm holding them in that love as they find their way through whatever they're struggling with.
Right. Because the other partner's love, you're just lighting up their love that's already behind the blockages.
Exactly. And helping bringing that forward. And what you start to watch is they start to get more of a pep in their step. They start to want to work. I don't even like the word work, but try harder. You're really getting through to them and sharing how you feel and asking for what you want.
So there may be a period of time that you do that, and there are uh, ones that can't move beyond their blockages. And well, can you talk about, is there a point where when you've communicated from the heart that there might be an end to the relationship?
Absolutely. And you'll know because you'll keep hitting the same roadblock time after time after time, and they'll start becoming defensive
Hmm.
and becoming more and more defensive and trying to dig their metaphoric heels in. And where they start becoming abrasive and wanting to bicker, all that nonsense.
Wow. I'm tuning into a relationship like that and how it does become so obvious that if you've really worked on yourself and been able to tune into your own presence and share with the other what's not working for you and light them up as a compliment. There's no have tos here, but you could also light them up, as you mentioned, over time. And at some point, you'll just know.
Yes, it would become so obvious because it'll be a lot of nitpicking, a lot of bickering, a lot of attempts to create arguments, like locking heads with egos. And that's where it's like, okay, I've done what I can do.
It feels so amazing when I'm feeling it within myself, how the journey within myself to get to the point where I'm not judging my partner, that's its own journey.
It is.
because of my blockages and my programming. Um, and I find when you can see yourself that you have blockages and they have blockages, but behind that is their loving presence, and you can tone down the judgment over time
Yes,
because of that realization that if I could have gone through my blockages earlier, I would have.
exactly.
If they could get through their blockages, they would have.
Yes.
And what if we can help each other get through our blockages
Yeah, because
together?
where there's willingness, it's a done deal.
Right. It's willingness with the clarity.
Yes.
You're sharing with us the clarity that we are loving beings at the core of us. And I've always liked your analogy of, a free flowing stream of water. And then if you could just see the judgments, um, the guilt, the shame, whatever the emotions are,
Yeah.
as little rocks in the stream blocking. Um, if we acknowledge that within each other, the willingness to, and both parties are willing to move beyond those uh, misperceptions and blockages of emotion and trauma and patterns of behavior,
Uh-huh.
then a relationship can become easy.
Exactly. Because you start watching those blockages dissolve away. It's not about me getting my way, you getting your way. It's more like our way.
That's that feels really wonderful.
Because if the love is there, the success is absolute. Now it's just a matter of getting rid of the ego that's trying to put things in boxes.
Wow. I can feel it. And is there something you'd like to share to wrap this podcast up to compliment all of us?
Yeah, I want people to feel like they no longer have to settle for conflicting relationships full of traumas, dramas in their lives anymore. It's right there for you. Maybe it's with your current partner, maybe it's not, who knows? But as long as your heart is involved, it's success guaranteed, even when welcoming in a new partner. Not a
Mm.
better partner, a new partner from the intimate, loving relationship of the heart where you're wanting ease and grace, you're wanting peace and tranquility, you're wanting passion and that passionate love to emanate through you because you're coming from a whole place, not I need, not that I'm lacking of something, but no, you're coming from being healthy, whole, and complete in your own right to where you start welcoming in dear ones to become a part of your life stream that match that.
Yeah, that you can communicate with, that are willing to share what's going on for them.
Exactly.
You can really love and assist in the journey, as it is a journey for all of us individually and collectively to move past things that aren't an expression of love through us.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Will, for this clarity. This is such an important topic for all of us. I really appreciate you sharing more about the intimate, loving relationships of the heart with another, giving us this clarity. Thank you, and thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
This is The Relevance of Now with William Linville. Join us next time, and namaste.
Namaste.